MediaTek is staying true to its tradition of being inclusive and is leading this transformation. Everyday genius is the great outcome of this new era. Never before has there been such limitless opportunities for all. Whoever and wherever we are, whatever our interests, desires, hopes and dreams. Our vision is simple and clear, to enrich everyone's life, so that all of us can be an everyday genius.
Thank you for your attention. Well, so true, yes indeed. We all have a genius inside us, just waiting to be discovered and explored to its full potential. MediaTek today stands as one of the leading chip design companies in the world and is unique because it's able to deliver tightly integrated designs for several markets across the world. This expertise of MediaTek underpins the company's cross-platform synergy and drives innovative new products. That is our forte, innovation. By merging cutting-edge technologies, MediaTek plans to revolutionize existing market and also create exciting new markets across the globe. Today, MediaTek would like to share with you their exciting journey. And we have a gentleman over here with us. It gives me immense pleasure to be introducing to all of you from MediaTek, Dr. Finbarr Moynihan. He is General Manager, Corporate Sales International. He's responsible for MediaTek's global customer relationships. And previously, he was Director of Product Marketing for MediaTek's Smartphone Business Unit. Let's welcome him with a loud round of applause. We have here with us Dr. Finbarr Moynihan, General Manager, Corporate Sales International, MediaTek. Sir, over to you.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back in Delhi. I've been coming now for a couple of years in this role to Delhi, and it's really exciting, I think, to see some of the progress that we've made, and hopefully we'll talk about some of the directions that we're taking for the future today. So I think for MediaTek, it's been an exciting year of expansion. Coupled with this everyday genius super mid market that we're seeing and some of the explosive growth in some of the devices, MediaTek has continued to expand its global footprint as we support customers and their customers all over the world. So a few weeks ago, we announced a major expansion here in India, in Bangalore, and that's a new R&D facility for MediaTek, where we expect to invest about $200 million in the coming years for R&D investment here in India. Also last month, we opened a new R&D center in San Diego in the US. So again, this is MediaTek expanding, growing, adding new R&D headcount all over the world. And on top of that, on the business side, we have also seen continued solid growth in MediaTek's shipments for the year. So recently we updated our 2014 expected shipments. So this year we expect to ship about 350 million platforms for smartphones. So think about it, that's about 1 million smartphone platforms every day that are shipping with MediaTek technology all over the world. And we started the year with about 300 million targets, so we're exceeding our plan. And we're going to spend some time today talking about our LTE, 4G LTE plans. We also expect to ship this year about 30 million LTE chipsets for smartphones as part of that 350 million. Again, we started this year thinking that number would be about 15. So it's sort of a doubling of what we expected from the start of the year. And tablets, which we're not going to talk so much about today, have also continued to be quite successful. And we'll ship about 40 million, just over 40 million tablet platforms this year. And then I guess the other big news that happened recently, and I'm sure you all have been covering it and talking about it, has been the Android One launch, which was a very big milestone for MediaTek. our partnership with Google to bring this new experience to the consumers in India. And it was very exciting that this initiative from Google started in India as kind of the real target market, the first market to launch Android One. And again, I'm not going to talk about it today. We've had the event, you've seen about it for the past few weeks, but we already have the first models started to ship. What I'm going to spend some time talking about today is MediaTek's platforms for LTE. It's probably something we haven't talked too much about in India so far, so this is kind of our first time really articulating what we're doing. We have and we continue to offer a very full portfolio of products for LTE. As I mentioned at the start, we'll ship about 30 million LTE platforms this year. So we're just kind of at the very early stage of this. But over the last few years, we've had a very strong focus on building and maturing our LTE modem technology. And now you see us propagating that technology into a whole bunch of platforms. So we have, first on the left, you see two platforms, an entry quad-core and an octa-core platform. These are basically the 3G platforms that we've talked about in the past, extended with LTE capability, basically by adding on an LTE modem. Those are some of the first products that are shipping. I'm going to spend more time today talking about the premium product, which is the 6595, which is our high-end LTE product that's just starting to ship now. And then coming a little bit later, we have new quad-core and new octa-core platforms for LTE. So again, by later this year, we'll really be offering premium, mid-range, and entry platforms, mainstream platforms for LTE. So again, bringing LTE to the full range of devices, different price points, different feature sets, different capabilities. So the product I want to spend some time talking about is the 6595, which is our premium LTE platform, and a lot of really cool, really neat multimedia features that I want to talk about here. Okay. So first on the, let's say the computing side, again, we have a very high capability. It's an octa-core platform based on ARM's Big Little. We're the first to deploy the very power-efficient Cortex-A17 core. So that's kind of a big core, but in a much more power-efficient implementation than the previous Cortex-A15. We also have a high-end graphics core from Imagination's latest Series 6 PowerVR graphics capabilities. And again, as kind of is required for these high-end platforms with high-end computing, high-end graphics, high-end multimedia, it has a very high bandwidth memory. So dual channel DDR memory with up to 933, I believe, megahertz for each channel. I think some of the stuff that's really exciting is on the multimedia, and we'll try to talk through some of those features in the presentation, show you some videos, but we also have some demo phones that really allow you to experience it, because you can talk about some of these things, but if you actually feel it and see it, it probably has a bigger impact. But 20 megapixel camera, dual camera capability on the platform. We're also implementing the new video codec standard, H.265 HEVC, so sometimes called Ultra HD 4K, 2K capability. Very nice high-end displays, up to 2K displays that we support. And also really a step up in the audio performance with the audio DACs and the audio capability that's integrated into the platform for customers. And then it's an LTE platform, so again, it's got an integrated 5-mode LTE modem, so TDD, FDD, LTE, 3G, HSPA+, 2G. It also has integrated CDS, CDMA for the China market. And also on the connectivity, this platform supports the new 802.11ac. So again, so-called higher speed Wi-Fi and higher data rates on the Wi-Fi network. So pretty powerful platform. On the processor side, on the computing platform, we have an octa-core, big little, so 4 big, 4 little. The big cores are the Cortex A17, first to implement those commercially. Again, very power efficient, and you see it here compared to even the Cortex A15. When you talk about performance, in this case we use the SpecInt benchmark to measure performance. But performance per watt, because in all these mobile applications, of course, it's the performance per watt or the performance for power that's important. It's about a 60, almost 70% improvement on the Cortex A15, so significantly more efficient on the power for the processing of these applications. And then something we've talked, I think, a little bit about in the past, but something that MediaTek now brands CorePilot. CorePilot is our technology. It's really a combination of hardware in the chip and software in the scheduling algorithms that allows the Android applications and the Android operating system to take advantage of whatever combination of the 8 cores that it thinks is best suited for the application. So it can use big cores, it can use little cores, it can use combinations of big cores and little cores, it can have multiple applications running. And so CorePilot is just the technology that we deliver to enable that to operate in the most efficient fashion, balancing, let's say, performance and power. So I think we have a short video just to explain a little bit more about that. So if we can start the video, please.
To give you the best battery life and performance possible, modern smartphone processors feature multiple processor cores suited to different tasks. In addition to high-performance cores that speed up heavy-duty activities like playing games, power-efficient everyday cores are also included for things like checking email or audio playback. Using the big little processor configuration, MediaTek's MT6595 features 4 To give you the best battery life and performance possible, modern smartphone processors feature multiple processor cores suited to different tasks. In addition to high-performance cores that speed up heavy-duty activities like playing games, power-efficient everyday cores are also included for things like checking email or audio playback. Using the big little processor configuration, MediaTek's MT6595 features 4 high-performance cores alongside 4 power-efficient cores to bring you the best of both worlds. CorePilot is MediaTek's technology to control which tasks are assigned to which processor core, delivering the best performance and power consumption possible across all 8 available cores. In some systems, only the high-performance or power-efficient cores can be active at any one time, while in others, each big and little core can only operate as a pair, meaning each pair appears as a single core to applications, limiting flexibility. CorePilot can assign tasks to any core at any time, delivering the best results possible. Called heterogeneous multiprocessing, this lets CorePilot dynamically move application tasks intelligently between the available cores, depending on the performance required. CorePilot's adaptive thermal management closely monitors the device temperature and dynamically adjusts performance to keep it within a specified temperature range. This approach not only minimizes the effect on performance, but also increases power efficiency compared to traditional dynamic thermal management systems that simply throttle performance at fixed temperature points. CorePilot increases performance up to 20% and reduces power consumption up to 20%, meaning your phone can do more and still have more battery life left at the end of the day.
That's just a simple way of illustrating what this CorePilot technology is about, and that's very much part of what's embedded in the platform. But how does that impact the user, right? So what we've done here in this slide is compare the main application launch times for some sort of classic applications, gallery, browser, camera, etc. For the new platform from MediaTek with sort of the high-end competitive platforms that are out there. And basically what it means is things launch faster. So again, user experience is better, responsiveness is better, because it can take advantage of the high performance cores to just launch them a bit quicker. On the multimedia, I've got a few slides I want to talk you through and show you some videos as well, just to show some of the multimedia experience. On this platform, it's one of the first, we've worked with some of the leading panel manufacturers to enable 120 Hertz or 120 frames per second refresh rate. So again, a lot of the panels, a lot of the LCD panels on smartphones today obviously run at 60 Hertz or 60 frames per second. So what this is going to translate to as we go to the next level of panels and LCDs here is better responsiveness, smoother response for the consumer. Again, it obviously takes more processing, more capability to drive this, but we've taken with this premium platform, a real focus on kind of moving to the next level of displays, the next technology that some of the display manufacturers are launching. And what it really means is we're going to enable what we call like a complete 120 Hertz mobile experience. So that's just not just the user interface at 120 Hertz, video recording and playback at 120 frames per second. We've talked in the past about clear motion, which is our technology for smoothing the frequency that the display or the video is running, and then playing games. So everything will be more responsive, more dynamic, smoother transitions, smoother UI for the customer. Again, kind of moving to the next level of performance in the premium segment. One of the really cool ones is in this platform, we've enabled 1/16 super slow motion is what we're calling it. So I think from iPhone and other devices, a lot of people are used to this feature, but we've kind of taken it a step further. So not just a quarter speed, but a 16th speed. So you have slow and you have super slow motion. It's probably easiest to illustrate this with the video. So if you look at one of our colleagues in the gym in MediaTek headquarters, you can see the video here when you play the video. So you'll see here like there's normal speed, then it goes to slow speed, slow motion, and then at some point it'll go to super slow motion, which is like 1/16 of the frame rate. So you see extremely slow motion for some of these things. So for those of you that are trying to track sporting events, babies, anything that's kind of cute, you can use this technique to again like change how the video is displayed, recorded, and displayed. So again, it's sort of another way of enhancing the multimedia experience on this platform, all already built into the platform. And then in the past, on the camera, we've talked about face beautifier. So I think when we've presented our platforms here before, we've talked about the feature of face beautifier, where you take an image and then there's sort of a post-processing of the face to, like me, after getting off a flight from wherever to show up in India, tired, jet lag, eyes, wrinkles, and it can smooth all that out and make the face more beautiful. In this platform, we've also extended that now to video. So in real time, while you're recording video, it can also do the face beautifier on a face. In fact, it can do it on multiple faces in a video. So again, if we can play the video to illustrate that point. So again, this is one of our colleagues in MediaTek. She's very brave to volunteer to be the before and after for face beautifier, but you can see that it's like, it doesn't change the face, it just kind of smoothens everything, makes it look a little less tired, maybe freshens it up a bit. So again, for videos, for fun, for parties, maybe for posting stuff on the web, it's always good to look your best. So again, you can do it now, not just on camera, photographs, but on videos, and you can do it on multiple faces, so even your friend's face can be beautified as well. And then we've also continued to raise the bar on the camera features that you'll find. So again, I think One of the areas that MediaTek has always put a lot of focus on has been the camera features, the rich feature set of the camera capability in the devices. But here, we have multiple dual channel ISP for up to 2 cameras. Really good improvements on the high dynamic range capability, multiple frame noise reduction, continued quality enhancement. And then I think we have a video as well that shows the video stabilization, right? So as you can imagine with some of these platforms where we support 4K, 2K, ultra high HD display, and you're holding a small phone, shaking, that can also be a source of noise. So having the image stabilization built in that allows a smoother image makes a big difference as well. We talked a little bit about the hardware support. So this platform is the first for MediaTek to support, and one of the first in the industry, to support so-called 4K, 2K, Ultra HD video encoding, decoding, and sometimes known as HEVC, high entropy video codec, or the standard name is H.265. Where this really matters, I think, is twofold, because I think we often get asked the question, why do you need 4K video on a phone when maybe the display is only 2K? First, there's 2 things here. One is the standard. So the HEVC or the H.265 codec allows for higher compression. So that just basically means you can store more video on the same amount of memory. So the example here is with the classic H.264 technique, you can see here for a certain size you can store about 105 minutes of video. But when you go to the new standard, with the same quality, you can store about 175 minutes of video. So it's a significant boost in the amount of video you can store in a certain amount of flash on your device. And probably the second advantage, and we can easily demonstrate this on some of the reference phones we have here, is when you have 4K, 2K video, we have the ability when you're playing the video to just pinch and zoom, right? So if you can imagine recording a soccer game, but your kid is the guy that's going to be in front scoring the goal, you want to be able to zoom right in and watch him. You can do that because you've got the resolution, and when you blow it up like that, you still maintain very nice resolution on the screen when you're watching it. So again, something that's easy to display, and again, a really cool use case and a really cool feature of the multimedia built into the platform. And then, all of this video, all of this camera, all of this multimedia, we've also enhanced the audio. So again, you've got really super quality audio capability built into the platform for, again, audio and video quality improvements. So really what we're trying to deliver in this platform is the best mobile experience, right? So it's a premium platform, it's an LTE capable platform, but a lot of focus on kind of really taking the multimedia user experience to the next level, whether that's the 120 Hz display, up to 480 frames per second with the super slow motion that we saw, 4K video, new standard with the video zooming capability, and then really, top quality stereo and audio capability to enhance that. And again, you can experience all these on the phones later. But one more thing, we've benchmarked this, and you can see the Antutu Score here. I think some of the phones probably have Antutu on them as well, but it's 47,000, so it's a huge score, and that's coming, I think, from the combination of the new Cortex-A17, the high-end graphics capability from Imagination, the high memory bandwidth that we enable on the platform. So it really is like as they say here. When I saw this slide, first of all, I thought Wow Monster was something that our guys just put in to make the slide look good, but it's actually what the Antutu app itself shows up. It's nothing to do with MediaTek. And then just, you can see here how it compares. So what I'm doing here is comparing the Antutu benchmark score against some other premium platforms that exist in the market, either based on octa-core, Cortex-A15 type applications, or competitor quad-core, but high-end quad-core platforms from the competitors. And you can just see how the Antutu number just blows them away in terms of the performance. And then finally, we talked about the roadmap. We are planning, and we have announced that later this year we will bring out a version called the 6795, which will bring a compatible 64-bit version. So basically, if we go to the roadmap, this is what we saw earlier. A little bit later, like towards the end of this year, we will be launching something called the 6795. It's going to bring all of the same premium multimedia features, the 2K display, the 4K video, 120 Hz, all of that stuff. But we will upgrade the CPU cores to a 64-bit octa-core class. So again, that's going to bring 64-bit computing. It's going to allow support for the next version of Android, etc., etc. And that's just going to continue the focus on bringing out the high-end models. But of course, we'll also have the other models coming in the next few weeks here with octa-core and quad-core LTE platforms for mainstream and sort of mid-range high-end products as well. And I think that's it. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.